In today's video, we're going to try to figure out what is the best way to keep your car cool when it's hot and sunny. Guys, today we are here at Stockton 12 Honda in Sandy, Utah, because they're letting us try a couple experiments with some of their cars.
You would think that anybody who's seen even a fraction of our videos would know it's a bad idea to just hand us the keys to a vehicle.
Apparently they don't know who we are. Good for us.
They gave us 4.
We're not doing anything that will ruin them. Our idea today is to test out what is the best way to keep your car cool if you have to be parked in high heat sunlight areas. So
we live in a desert, so
it's hot, it's dry. Today it's currently about 10:30 in the morning and it's already over 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It's supposed to hit 100 degrees today. So we think it's going to be pretty good for testing. We actually do have a little bit of smoke in the air. Our state is on fire right now. I don't think that'll interfere too much with our experiments. And so we're going to try a few things out. Here's the basic idea. We've come to a car dealership to test out what is the best way to keep your car cool in the summer heat. Does rolling down the windows help? How much of a difference does AC make when you're driving? Guys, this is my friend Stuart Edge. You may know him from his YouTube channel, Stuart Edge. And this was basically his idea. So tell us what you wanted to test.
Yeah, I was walking by a car and the windows were cracked. And I was like, does that do anything? I wanted to see at what level can you lower the window and will that affect the temperature of the car? If you lower it an inch, will that drop the interior temperature of the car by a couple of degrees? Do you have to have the windows completely open? That's the stuff we want to test today.
So that's something I've always done.
Yeah.
I've always heard and believed that if you got to be parked in the sun and you're just going to leave your car there, that if you leave the windows cracked about an inch,
let some of that ambient heat come out.
all of the heat that's building up in your car, you know, heat rises, goes to the top, and some of it can just escape out of the open windows. But I've never really tested it.
And then other ways that you can cool down the car faster.
So we have 4 identical or at least very similar cars that we're going to park in the heat. We've got some digital instant read thermometers. We're gonna test out, I think the idea is we'll have one car with nothing, it's just sitting there as a control. One will crack the windows about an inch, all 4 of them. One will just leave the windows all the way down, see how much of a difference that makes, only do that in safe areas. And one will leave the windows up, but we're gonna use just a sun reflector in the windshield and see how much of a difference that makes as well. Guys, if you haven't met our friend Kenan yet, he's here helping us make some videos, and we are probably gonna drive these cars after we let them sit for an hour. We're gonna need a 4th driver, so he's helping us out.
Vroom, vroom.
Exactly.
I do think that the cracking the windows helps a little bit, but I think that our window shield is going to be the best.
This is actually what I'm most interested in, is to see the difference between which helps more between this and cracking the windows.
Okay.
All right, we're already at 94.6 Fahrenheit. That's pretty warm. Let's give it an hour. So this one will have the windows rolled up, no sunshade, just see how hot it gets. All right, Stuart, yeah, hop in, give us a reading.
It is already pretty toasty in here.
Yep, still climbing.
Still climbing. Okay, it seems like we've stopped. We're at 98.9 is what it's at right now.
That's hot.
Yeah, that is very hot. 99.1 now. So I'm guessing this would probably get up to about 100 degrees, but we'll start the control now. We're just gonna crack the windows enough, what most people might do while still trying to stay safe, right? Maybe an inch or so.
I would say you wanna do an amount that I can't reach my hand in to get the lock or anything.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe a little less than that. Yeah, that's about how I do mine.
When I was in there with the windows cracked, it honestly didn't feel like much was changing. So this test, I don't think is looking that optimistic. I don't think the window cracking is actually gonna do much because I was not feeling any sort of difference when I was just lowering the windows a bit. Maybe a degree or 2. I don't think it's gonna be much.
I'm really interested to know if this thing that I've been doing for years is actually helping or not, so.
Or if it's just putting you at more risk of robbery, right?
Easy to fit a wire hanger in there and push an unlock button.
Yeah.
So this one we're going to roll the windows all the way down and see if that makes a difference. All right, so over 100 in this car as well. So let's go ahead and just roll the windows down and then I'm going to get out. All right.
Okay, well, since I'm not the one used to this Utah heat, I get this sweet reflector. So the idea, hopefully, is that this will bounce a lot of that UV and infrared radiation back away so that my car's not getting as hot and I don't swelter to death. Hopefully this works. We're climbing pretty quick. We're at 93 and counting. I don't know how you guys did this.
Nice and pleasant?
Yo, my gosh. Heat is not my thing. Like
Has it hit 100 yet?
We're all, yep, right there. Just hit it.
There we go. Okay, get out, get out.
Yeah, let's get the shade set up and then let's take a break for an hour.
It's too hot. This is not for me. I need the AC already. Whew.
It's been about an hour with our car sitting in the sun. This is our control car. Ambient air temperature is showing up at about 93 Fahrenheit. So I'm going to get into the car and start taking a reading. The door will be left open while we do this, partly so we can film, but also because I think it's more realistic to, if you were getting in the car, what you would do. I'm curious if the temperatures are different at different parts of the car as well. Let's put it up near the ceiling. Heat's supposed to rise, right? Oh, there we go. We're up to 106, 107, 108, 109. Oh, here comes 110. Woo! Still going. 126. Now, recently in Death Valley, California, temperatures clocked at 131 Fahrenheit at what I believe is like the highest recorded temperature in the country for over 100 years. And we're getting pretty close to that inside this car. Now, obviously, if you parked a car down there, it'd get well past this, but look at that. Look at that. 120, oh, we're gonna hit 120, 128 Fahrenheit. That's 53 Celsius for you non-Americans. It just hit 55 Celsius. There you go, 55 Celsius, 131 degrees Fahrenheit. Still climbing a little bit. This is insanity. All right, there we go. That's our control car. It's hot as blazes in here. Oh, stepping out into this nice, just calm 85, 87 degree weather feels really nice after that. It's like 30 to 40 degrees warmer in the car than out here. Whew.
What makes a car get so hot?
Light is able to pass in through the glass, at which point the ultraviolet or visible light spectrum bounces around and actually slows down to become infrared, which cannot pass through glass. To infrared light, glass is opaque. And so then it just bounces around and they're heating up more and more and just adding temperature increases to your car.
Science. So this is the vehicle where the windows were cracked to about 1 inch where someone couldn't reach their hands in, but enough to hopefully have the hot air pass out. We'll see if that is even a real thing. Yeah, so this is kind of stopping around 101, 102. Now we're putting the needle up where our faces are, where we'll be feeling the most heat. And yeah, this is just continuing to climb.
So Callie's been taking hers, and you said you're at 105?
Yeah, I just hit 107. So when it was down here, I only hit about 98. So definitely a difference.
98,
up here,
102, about 101, 105, and then up at the ceiling you're at?
I'm at it hit 107.8, and then it started dropping again. So I'm at 107, okay, now it's 107.9. Okay, 108. It is crawling. It doesn't want to go much higher than about 108 right now.
It's actually kind of going down now. It got up to 122, and now it's been dropping ever so slightly. It was at 121.8, now it's at 128, 120, now it's at 121.8. So it's kind of like leveled off there. That's actually a few degrees cooler than what Nate's control vehicle got. So that is good to know that cracking the windows does slightly lower the temperature of the car, but really not much. This is still quite unbearable.
This car, the windows, we had all 4 windows rolled down as far as they could. Now,
That's significant.
we've gone down now, so 106.7. So that's 24 degrees lower than what Nate's was. That's a pretty massive difference. Still feels good to step out here into this, 85 degree weather.
Wow. So
Yep.
we had about 130 in Nate's control vehicle. With the windows cracked in my vehicle, I was kind of at about 122, 123, significantly, well, lower, but not like crazy. And then that's crazy with in the open windows at 104. That's manageable. That's not too hot.
I'm a little worried about this now. It seems that like the windows play a big role, and my windows are up, and I don't do heat, so here we go, fingers crossed.
Where are we at right now?
We're at 109, 110,
Okay.
111. Wow, this is climbing.
Maybe the sun visor isn't so much about keeping heat out, but light and ruining the interior of your vehicle. Because I know that's been a selling point for these, that it doesn't ruin the the
Less
leather,
fading and
yeah,
stuff.
less fading. So it's seeming like it's not so much about keeping out heat, but it would protect the leather of your vehicle. It would fade less, and there wouldn't be as much cracking over time.
Yeah, it's not saving me. I'm dying. It's 123. You're not supposed to be in temperatures this hot.
I am curious what we can do to sort of cool down the cars. So I think on the hottest two, the one with the windows cracked on mine, I want to test something that I've heard helps cool down a car. It's supposed to be faster, and the idea is that you leave both front doors open, and with one open, you take the other door and you sort of swing it open and shut. And it's supposed to just like help pump cooler air through the car. So my thought is that we can try just opening a couple of doors and then one where we actively are like pumping the air and see if it helps at all.
So the final temperature that I got here was 125, which is way too hot. Now that I'm bringing it down, at least around my face level, it's still over 100. We're at like 114. But this car got toasty.
Don't smash your fingers in the door, obviously.
Oh my gosh, it's dropping.
Is it really?
Yeah,
A little bit.
we are seeing it drop. Okay, come over here. As he's doing this, it's dropping substantially. 100, 106, substantially. This is like a magic trick. Oh my goodness. 99 degrees. I don't feel much air, but just Nate right now doing this is dropping this. I think this was at like 103 or 104, and it's dropping significantly. 98.6 right now. 98.4. This is
We're
now
down below 98.
Yes, we are now in comfortable temperatures.
We've
No
dropped like
AC
5
is
degrees
running.
off
All
already.
Nate's doing is opening and closing the door. This is a hack.
So Kenan is going to be driving his car with the windows up and the AC on full blast. Who wants windows down and who wants windows down and AC?
I'll do windows down.
All right, windows down,
Yep.
no AC. Windows down, AC on the highest it goes.
Got it.
So
What are you
full
doing?
blast, windows up, no AC. It's a control.
Yeah. And this
Are
is
you gonna be okay?
Yeah, I like heat.
this
I mean, I'll
is
be pouring sweat, but this isn't a long term, like if you're driving for an hour, you just got into your car, it's hot. What's gonna cool it down the most at first? Long term, I think good AC is gonna beat windows down if it's a hot day. But right away, that first 20 minutes, so we're just gonna kind of go a lap around the block and see what's getting it down fastest. Windows are up, AC is off. Let's take a trip around the block. See how much it would cook. I was getting 98, 99 Fahrenheit just right here as I started. And whew, I had the doors open a little bit just to give some breeze as we were doing that. And now they are closed and it is getting warmer. Now it feels like absolute death in here right now. I'm sweating profusely. This was just in a cup holder, which might be a little too hot, but let's see what kind of stabilizes out at just right here. Going up, actually. So 110, now that I've closed the doors and windows and have no air circulating at all. 117. Curious what it is up by the ceiling, see if it's any hotter. While I'm here at a light. Oh, it actually dropped down a bit. Curious, very curious. Oh, and back up. Maybe it's just, it cooled down when I grabbed it. A little bit of moisture from the sweat on my fingers evaporated off. Yeah, it's 119 up by the ceiling. At least I didn't hold it for long. What are we at? 121? All right, so that seems to be our stabilization for the most part, is around 121 Fahrenheit. Oh, okay guys, so my car, the control, I had the thermometer running, I got to at least 120, maybe 121. What'd you guys hit? You had windows down.
Yeah, I had windows down, but no AC. I probably consistently stayed between 100 and 98 degrees. So in there, not comfortable, but not 120.
I had windows down and AC running,
Okay.
which is actually typically what I do to cool down my car. And yes, it dropped to about 87 or 88 degrees, which is actually lower than the outside temperature.
Quite a
right
bit,
now.
I think. Well,
And at
a little
that
bit.
point, it seems like the outside temperature would actually be seeping the cold away from you because, yeah, you're just getting the hotter air from outside blowing in. All right. Kenan?
Yeah, I left the AC blasting in my face as low as it could go and was just chilling at a balmy 76 degrees the entire drive.
Did you happen to notice how quickly it got to that point?
It did drop down fairly quick. It started at like 80, and then about the time that we made our first turn, so maybe about 3 minutes in, I hit that like 78 mark.
So that's about when I hit 110, that first turn.
That's about where mine hit 100 and stayed.
Yeah, crack your windows, get a heat shield. When you approach your car, open a couple doors and pump the door for like a minute. Get in, roll the windows all the way down, drive, roll them up, crank the AC. It's a lot of steps, but everyone in Arizona is probably like, yeah. We know. What do you think we've been doing since cars were invented? Apologies, but you know, gotta test these things. So guys, this has been fun to test out. Thanks to Stuart for giving us this idea. It was tolerable to test out. It's fun to learn new things, even if I was a puddle at times.
And we debunked the myth that the cracking doesn't really do that
It
much.
helped a little,
It
not a
does.
ton. It's kind of a medium. Thanks to Stockton 12 Honda here in Sandy for letting us use their cars. Guys, if there's other stuff you want to see us test similar to this, let us know down in the comments.
Thank you guys for watching. If you like this kind of material, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button right over here. See you next time.